Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you for stopping by to watch. It's been raining and I think maybe it's stopped, but I'm underneath the canopy just in case. It has rained nearly nonstop for a week now. We went from drought conditions to at least 6 inches of rain over the past 5 or 6 days, so trust me, it is well saturated around here, standing everywhere. Have to use the canoe to go feed the chickens and sheep and that kind of thing. It's quite wet and it's cold too. So you saw the map at the start of the video. If you're wanting to know what that's all about, there's a link in the description below. You can go learn about the map project that we're doing here to try to help you folks connect with each other, like-minded, preparedness-minded folk to connect. As you can see, it's starting to fill in. Now, each one of those pins that you see in that map does not necessarily represent one person. It's just an area where there's clusters, and sometimes maybe one by themselves. It's just there's too many people to have a pin for each person. Some of you have been asking about when you're going to get your email, when you're going to get emails. They're coming. We've been sending them out in batches. There's a lot of emails to be sent, and probably what it's going to work out to be is doing them once a week, because it's just too many and too much to be doing on a daily basis, sending, batches of emails, dozens of these emails, sometimes hundreds of emails out at the same time. So we'll probably do batches once a week. So if you haven't received your email yet on the people that are in your area, you will be receiving them. So just stick with it. Before we get started, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button if you will. Today we're talking about something that we've talked about several other times. I will try to link some other videos of the same subject in the description below. But I know some of you might already be tired of this, thinking, man, are we ever going to talk about something else? Here's the reason why we're talking about it again. Because it's very important, I believe. Now, if you don't agree with me and you all just stop watching these videos, maybe we'll, stop talking about it. But this is something that's, I believe, probably more important than the health crisis and the election and all that's taking place, that you are being bombarded with on a daily basis. And that is the Great Reset. Now, I know. I occasionally get the comments when I talk about it. That's just a conspiracy theory. There's nothing to it. That's not true. While there are some conspiracy theories out there that may or may not be true, this is not a theory. This is being talked about by many, if not most, of the top world leaders all over the planet. There is ample video and articles out there for you to research on your own and see that this is real, and it's not something that they're wanting to do in the future. This is something that they're doing right now, which is very different than some of these things in the past that those of us that's, truth seekers and, more awake people, things like Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, New World Order, that kind of thing, that we talk about what they're wanting to do, wanting to get to, wanting to change. This isn't something that's in the future. This is something that's in the present right now that's being done. The Great Reset is being pushed, at least in the public's eye, by the World Economic Forum, which is considered the top 0.1% of the world's elite. These folks, these guys and gals, I'm telling you, you couldn't probably round up more elite folk than the 2,800 people that make up the World Economic Forum. And their agenda is quite clear because, well, they tell you what their agenda is. It's right on their website. It's right in the videos that they're doing. And then you can look at things happening in other countries as well as ours, where it's policy changes, technological changes, economic changes. It's all lining up with what they're saying they're doing. And to the thing that we want to at least mention today, if it's not proof, it's certainly more evidence that it's happening, is this. It's the new cover of Time Magazine International Edition. Yes, that's right. It's coming out. If it's not out on newsstands now, it will be shortly. The Great Reset. And it shows this nice picture of them appearing to maybe reconstruct the planet with all these workers, healthcare workers, the mom holding the baby, planting a tree, because that's their agenda, to rebuild according to their idea of what this planet and the people that live on it should be. If you notice in the page of the front cover of the Time magazine, it also mentions that the presidential election here in the United States. Now, this is an international edition for the Time magazine, but they're very focused on the election here in the United States, because I believe it's very important playing into the whole Great Reset. This kind of this system that they are wanting to create is, I believe that most of the people, when they hear it on the surface, they're like, oh, well, that's nice and sweet. Oh, well, we could use a lot of improvement, you know. It would be a good idea, until you dig into it. Look at this next image. This is off of their website. You can find this image very easily by doing a Google image search for the Great Reset. It's usually the first image that pops up. I know you can't see it too well because it's the fine print and all, but if you click on each one of those topics on that image, on their website. If you go to their website, you look up the Great Reset on the World Economic Forum website, you can click on each one of those, and it opens up into a new page filled with usually articles or videos talking about what they want to do on that particular subject. The subjects include artificial intelligence, global governance, internet governance, LGBTQI, whatever, integration, gender identity, environmental issues, digital currencies, and that's a real big one that they're pushing, is a digital currency. They're also talking about 5G, drones, the integration of technology into humans. Yes, you heard me say that right. Not alongside, but inside. This stuff that they're pushing is quite startling. Now, why am I talking about it again? Because I guess you could say, well, you're not saying anything you haven't said before. Here's the thing. Let's pause for a moment and let's recollect on 2020. We are getting close to the end of it. One of the things that probably many of you have noticed over the past year, with all that has happened, the news media has been a frenzy of just this fear porn. I mean, they always do that. They always sell fear and sensationalism. They know that sells, but this year has been different. They have pointed out many times, local and national news, all these little things that are really quite insignificant, just to try to drum up some more panic and fear, and 2020 is scary, and 2020 there's all kinds of stuff going on that it's the most rarest, most unusual thing. Let's mention a few. Remember back when they were talking about the dust storm, the sandstorm coming over from Africa that made it all the way across the Atlantic Ocean? Oh, it was all a buzz for a while, except that happens every year. Some years are worse than others, and this was one of them. But it happens all the time. And then there was the murder hornets from Asia. That's right, these big hornets that's going to kill everyone, except even when they spoke of it, they had no proof that they were here. They now have discovered a hive, and they have exterminated that hive. I'm sure they are here. And I'm sure that they could cause some havoc if you get stung or if they get into the bee population. But it's not the end of the world, right? The point I'm making is that they have, expounded on all of these, normal things to make them very fearful. when in fact, this one thing they have been utterly and virtually silent on. This, the Great Reset, the media has spoken almost none about. And I find that very interesting with all the stuff. I mean, wouldn't they just love to talk about, oh, and by the way, in 2020, there's, artificial intelligence is going to be used inside your body. Oh, and by the way, there is this great reset, changing humanity, changing our world. But no, they're not talking about that. I mean, I'm sure they could sell a bunch of advertisement on all the terrifying facts of the Great Reset so that everyone would just glue themselves to the TV. But, even people that a lot of you and I kind of folk would consider more of a truth seeker or, telling it like it is, like, say, Tucker Carlson. Does he talk about it? No. In fact, before I did this video, I got on just to see who all is actually talking about it. And I did a simple YouTube search for the Great Reset. And there's lots and lots of videos about the Great Reset, except they're all from the World Economic Forum. There are a few from people that are supporting it. There's some financial advisors on there saying how you should move your money around to get ready for this because there's an international monetary system change. The US dollar is no longer going to be the global dollar. They're switching to digital currencies, all this. So there's some advice on that. But I found like 3 or 4 videos from folks like myself that are typically channels where they speak about whether it's conspiracies or things that you should just be aware of that's happening in this world. And that was about it. I found some foreign ones, some videos from Japan and Germany and Turkey trying to wake people up. Of course, if you can understand the language that they would speak. Some of them they had subtitles and others they did not. The point is that even in our circles of like-minded folk, this one subject, the Great Reset, is not being talked about. I don't think it's because maybe creators on YouTube like myself don't want to talk about it. I think it's just not in their focus. It's not in their crosshairs right now because there's so much going on with the election, with the second or third wave happening, more shutdowns, all the violence in the streets, the potential looming civil war and civil unrest. All of that is a lot to talk about. But this thing, it just seems insignificant, except really when you start digging into it, it's probably way more important and way more scary than all of that other stuff. I think personally that a lot of what's happening, what we're seeing happen, is orchestrated to get us to a point of the Great Reset. And let's give you an example of that. Now this is my theory, all right? And don't take my word as the truth or fact. You need to do your own research. But the health crisis that we are experiencing, one of the big things, we all know that it's not that deadly. I mean, sure, there are people getting sick and there are people that's died, but it's nothing like pandemics of the past, where tens of millions of people have died. In comparison, it would be hundreds of millions nowadays with our population, and that's just not happening. So why all of the social distancing and the mask wearing and the staying at home and only communicating through digital means? This is getting people ready, softening you up for, I believe, this unveiling of more and more advanced technology in our lives. Because if it was just dumped on us, a lot of people would resist it. They would say, well, why do we need that? We don't need that. If things are fine the way it is. But with this way, you're already getting used to not having as much personal contact with other people. You're already getting scared that people are disease-ridden and the money is disease-ridden and the surfaces that everyone touches. And I'm afraid to go to the restaurant because I might get it from the food contamination, and we can't sit in a restaurant anymore because we're all breathing the same air, and just on and on. And well, if they come out and say, well, we have a solution for that. We have all this more, advanced technology that you can just stay at home and you can have contact with anyone you want in the world because we have this great 5G network now, and everyone is going to be able to be more connected. And well, we don't have to worry about our money being contaminated because it's all digital. There's no personal contact anymore. And you don't have to worry about maybe your food being contaminated by a person, or even getting it from the doctor, or going to the doctor's office, or even having a surgery, because we have artificial intelligent robots now that are doing all this work for us. We're manufacturing our food now in a very closed, germ-free environment because it's all manufactured and not grown or raised. See all this? It's very, I believe, very planned and orchestrated. They have to set us up in a situation to where people would accept that, because the stuff that they're talking about doing, the average person on this planet would say, absolutely not. We don't need that. We don't want that. You're not going to do that to me. But if everyone is terrified because of a health crisis, or if everyone is terrified because of, police officers abusing their authority, or racism, or bigotry, or corrupt governments, or on and on and on, afraid to go to the doctor, afraid to go to a store, afraid to go out to eat, afraid to go to grandma's house, afraid to go to a park with your kids, afraid to hug each other, afraid to shake hands, on and on and on, then it would be much easier for them to accept this technology that would replace a lot of the old things and make their lives easier under this system of fear that's been created. That, I believe, is one of the big reasons that we're seeing all this stuff happen today, because it's desensitizing us. It's softening us up for the blow when they start rolling out all this new technology, this new control over our lives. I mean, look at one of the things that was talked about back when there was all the big shutdowns here and all over the world. What was one of the things, if you remember, that was being talked about? How good it was on the environment. Why, all these countries, they were showing pictures of China that once where the sky was so dirty and cloudy because of all the smog was now clean. They were talking about wildlife coming into cities. They were talking about the vast reduction of pollution all over the planet because, well, everyone was staying home. No one was driving cars. A lot of people weren't going to work. It caused, from their point of view, a very beneficial effect on the environment. Do you think they want that to go away? You think they want everyone to just rush back to work and start driving their cars and polluting, and all the animals to not have a place to live? No, that's part of their plan, is to give the environment priority over humans. They flat out say this stuff. And they're showing what their plan is by keeping everyone locked down. Well, if you're locked down, people aren't going to like that, except now we're going to have all this technology to make your lockdown, your stay at home, much easier. You don't need to go to work. We're going to have universal basic income, and there's no jobs for you to go work at in the factories and everything, because it's all going to be done by robots. So what jobs you might have available, you can do that at home on your computer. And you may not make that much money doing it anymore, but it doesn't matter because everyone gets a basic income. It's on and on and on. People read between the lines with this stuff. This Great Reset, it's a pretty serious and kind of scary thing that we have to be aware of. And we have to see through this facade that they are painting it as a good thing for us, and resist it. Because that's about the only thing that we can do right now to win against this. Wake others up, share it around, talk to people, get the conversation going. Because it's not gonna happen, it is happening. While you're at it, prepping up, getting things bought, we've got an election coming up in a few days. Go to preparewithtravis.com. You can find some really great deals on long-term foods. This stuff is excellent quality, super good price. You know, it's not the only thing you should be stocking up on when you're buying food, but definitely you need to have some of this set aside because it lasts so long. It's very easy to prepare, and it's a real good deal and good quality. Go to preparewithtravis.com. They still have about a week and a half to 2 week turnaround time, which is pretty good on this stuff right now, which means you'll have it in a couple of weeks. All right, folks, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.